So we are joined by Professor Christof Heyns, who is the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Killings, and he is participating today in the high-level policy seminar sponsored by the Global Governance Programme on targeted killings and drones. Christof, this is an issue which falls very squarely within your mandate, in the use of technology, drone technology, to engage in lethal strikes against individuals. From the point of view of your mandate, what are sort of three key problems or three key issues which you see with this tactic?
Well, I think the starting point is the mandate is about protection of the right to life, and I think in many ways the use of drones challenge this. I don't think drones in themselves are illegal, but I think the fact that they are so mobile and with the press of a button can be deployed anywhere around the world in a way creates challenges that we need to address. I think the first one is the question of identifying whether one is actually dealing with an armed conflict or not, because the targeting regimes are quite different, of course. And I think there's a tendency for states who want to use force to choose the paradigm that they are dealing with an armed conflict, and in many cases with an armed conflict that is not bound by borders. And I don't think anybody is saying that there should be a worldwide battlefield, but that is the spectre that haunts the use of drones, because of course at the moment only a few states use drones and some states have access to them, but in future the drones can be cloned, so to speak, as well. And I think this technology will be available, and so many states may be using it for proliferation. And if the battlefield is defined very widely, I think it does create this problem that one may have very low targeting standards that are used worldwide. I also think in terms of the decision in the first place whether to engage in the use of force on another state's territory, that drones, because they are unmanned, from the point of view of the state deploying them, do not pose any risk to their own soldiers. So I think one of the other problems then really is that the threshold of going to war is lowered. So maybe then in some cases it's more precise, and that's not exactly clear. But I think in general one has the potential problem that there may be many more battlefields created around the world. And I think you asked for three. I think the third one is really and that's the overall problem that I have, is that the established legal standards that have been worked out over many years are being challenged. Issues such as imminence of attack and these issues that I've mentioned in general, that precedents are created that other states will use, and in a way international law is steered into a different direction.
So one of the topics that we've been discussing fairly intensively here today is whether European states have any special interest or responsibility in addressing this question, given that they themselves, even though they may be acquiring drones, certainly don't make the kind of claims that the United States make about, as the United States make about being in a worldwide conflict with terrorists, about the global scope of the battlefield, and so on. And so in what sense should European states take more than a political interest in this?
Well, I think at the bottom of this is really the role that we want law to play. And if we're going to have a huge divergence in how international law is interpreted from one part of the world, especially those who are the leaders in technology, and how it's interpreted by, say, Europe and by other parts of the world as well, I think the whole role of international law can be diminished. So I think Europe has a strong interest, as you've mentioned. It's not just the US who have this technology, so Europe doesn't have it as well, but I think Europe has an interest in establishing a common framework in terms of which it can be deployed, also because of the idea that eventually this will spread more widely, and the precedents that are now being set, and to some extent maybe in an overreaction, that these precedents then eventually will guide the conduct of everybody involved.
Thank you very much, Christof Heyns.
Thank you very much.